What up, team? Hold on, I gotta make sure I got the right mic plugged in. Sometimes it'd be a little funky. All right, we're good to go. What up, team? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to a little agency therapy. Stoked to be back. It's Wednesday, so you know we're here. 7 p.m. Central Time. We do this every week. If you're new to the stream, what's up? Say hello. Say hello in the chat. Tyler's here, getting that B roll, that main B roll, baby. What up? What up? Don't be shy. Jump in. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back. Welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. Excited that you're here. Got to drop a link for you guys real quick. That way you guys have access to the stream board today. Boom. There you go. Cool. You guys, let's hop straight into it today. It's going to be a relatively short training. Want to make sure it's impactful for you guys. If you have questions as we go along, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you guys aren't familiar with the agency format or agency therapy format, normally I'm presenting on some sort of topic for a few minutes here. We'll open it up for Q&A at the end. Normally about an hour-ish stream in total. So we'll be done, roughly 7:40 today. That would be my guess. So it'll be a little bit shorter on this one today. Don't have a massive subject plan, but something that's going to be impactful for you guys, something that is going to allow us to kind of take a peek into what is necessary to run a multi seven figure business. And here's the thing is I've built a couple of these now. First business that we built was a multi seven figure business. This business that we're building currently is a seven figure business and working towards that multi seven figures. So wanted to drop a little bit of knowledge, wanted to drop a little bit of what I've learned and what I've picked up that has turned me into an entrepreneur that can create seven figure businesses. And these are all things I've learned from other people. And a majority of what you guys learn on this stream is probably going to be things that I've learned from other people. But at the end of the day, this is how knowledge gets transferred, right? So let's do a little share screen, guys. As you know, we always do the share screen on agency therapy. What up? What up? Tyler Lee. Good to see you, brother. And we'll jump into the agency therapy stream board. Give me a little thumbs up in the chat or type a number in the chat if you guys can see this okay. Want to make sure you guys have access to this, okay? Pulling it up right now. Let me know if you guys can see that okay. Let me know. Let me know. And we can jump into it. Okay. Now, you guys, this is the agency therapy stream board here. I'm just going to move my chat into the other screen. This is the agency therapy live stream board. So if you guys aren't familiar with this is where we kind of house every agency therapy that we've not ever done, but have done in the past. There's a lot to unpack here. So if you guys are like looking for things on niching down, right? Well, there's a training on that. If you guys are looking for other agency operations, there's stuff for that. If you guys are looking up on the one-page impact plan, there's stuff on this. Crafting your offer, lead generation on LinkedIn. There's a lot of freebies here for you guys to consume, and all of them have a video that correlates to them back to the YouTube channel. So if you're looking for the training video, great, it's already here for you. And if you're looking for how to do it step by step, for example, here on the LinkedIn module, step by step, that's there for you guys as well. Okay, so utilize this. This is a free resource for you guys. I dropped the link in the chat for you. So if you want access to it, here it is. Oh, or if you want to follow along, you can follow along with me during this, and I can you can kind of see what I'm looking at. Okay, we're on part 24 today. And it's lessons from building my second seven-figure business and doing 120K plus per month. And what's up, Anthony? Good to see you, brother. Long time. Hope you're doing well, brother. I saw I think I saw you comment on the YouTube channel the other day. I appreciate you, bro. Always appreciate the support. It's good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. But you guys, on this today, I want to talk about some of the things that I've learned specifically in building seven-figure businesses, and really it boils down to three main categories or three main buckets, and it's mindset, skill set, and relationships. This is what I truly feel are the three categories that you really have to figure out in order to build a seven-figure business. And a lot of it does revolve around the mindset. And guys, I don't talk about mindset very often because I do think it's a little bit in the clouds. And I think mindset is really important, but like once you have it, you kind of just go. You work on the other things a lot more often. So once you find the mindset, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be continued to work on, and something that I have to work on consistently. But there is a certain point where it's just like, dude, you got the mindset and you have that piece figured out. And not saying that doesn't need to be worked on, but you do get to a point where it's like the mindset is in the right spot and you have to work on it a lot less than the skill set or the relationships aspect. Okay. And there's pinnacle points during each of our businesses where we will be required to up level things inside of our mindset, inside of our skill set, the relationships inside of our businesses. Okay. There's going to be a requirement for us to up level at a certain point. Okay. And I want to go into some of the nitty gritties of, hey, what is it specifically on mindset that allowed me to build multiple seven figure businesses? What was it specifically on mindset? What was it specifically on skill set? And what specifically was it on the relationship side? Nadeem, welcome back. Good morning. I love it. Where are you at, Nadeem? Tell me where you're at. Where it's the morning. It is nice and late over here. Not nice and late. 7 o'clock. Uh, in the evening. So, yes, let's jump in. We got a little mindset here to start things off. And the first thing that I want to chat about is growth versus fixed mindset. And the questions that I like to ask myself here is, do I believe that my abilities and intelligence can be developed, or do I believe them to be static? And this is something that, as a young entrepreneur, you kind of feel like you have everything figured out. You start making a little bit of money, and all of a sudden you stop investing into yourself, investing into the mindset, investing into your abilities, your intelligence, right? And so you have to have this growth mindset. And I think a majority, Nadeem from Singapore, let's go. We love to see it. And the thing that I think most of us probably have is like, hey, like, yeah, we invest into growth. Most of you guys are here, right? You're here on this live stream because you're investing into growth of yourself. That's why people show up to this. It's because they feel like it's a good investment of their time so they can grow. Yeah. So chances are, if you're here, you already have this, but this can change from time to time. And as we grow as a business owner, and especially as you become more successful, well, all of a sudden you start to puff your chest out a little bit, right? And you feel like there's no need for growth anymore. Okay. So stay in that growth mindset, that beginner mindset, because you're going to be constantly striving for the next level. And if you have a fixed mindset, it's very hard to dig yourself out of that and get to the next level. Okay. So growth mindset, gotta have it. Okay. Now the second piece is going to be resilience. Now, you guys, on the resilient side, I will admit 100% this is one of the most difficult things about being an entrepreneur and running a business that has team, that has clients, right? Is the resilience factor, because everything at some point will feel like it's working against you. And it's not a great feeling. And you have to develop this resilience. And so you have to ask yourself, how do you handle setbacks? And do I view challenges as opportunities or threats to the business? And here's the thing, guys, is like every setback is a great learning opportunity, whether we realize it in the moment or not. But we have to be ready to handle setbacks because business is full of them. We're going to have employees leave. We're going to have our largest client fall off. We're going to have people talk bad about us, right? There's going to be all of these things that come up and they're going to feel like setbacks. But really, the lens that we should view this through is that this is an opportunity, not a threat, right? This is an opportunity to get better and to learn from the mistakes that we make and the setbacks that we have. It's an opportunity for growth, right? Which kind of reflects back on our growth mindset. But if we can't handle setbacks, or if we get too much in our head, or we feel too down about a certain scenario, then it's hard to jump back in and get consistent again. So if you're having a hard time handling setbacks, then this is a skill set. And honestly, this could fall under a skill set as well. But really, it's a mindset, right? It's a mindset that you have to continue to nurture and learn from, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, like, what's the worst case scenario? That's like the one frame that I'll usually use in this. So, like, the setback, it's like we lose a client. Okay, well, what's the worst case scenario? Well, we sign another one, right? We bring another one through. We get better, and we deliver better for that client than we did the last one. So how do you handle those setbacks? Do you see them as an opportunity like the one I just described there? Or do we see it as a threat? It's like, oh my gosh, we lost a client. How are we gonna make payroll? How are we going to move past this? This is our largest client. Yes, I've lost my largest client probably 10 times at this point in my career. It happens. Okay. So, and here's the thing, the first time that it happened, it felt like the world was burning down. I'm sure I cried at some point in time. So, not saying it's not the knee jerk reaction to feel this way, but you learn, right? The mindset of learning around setbacks is cool. Didn't work out. That is the lagging indicator, right? And really, we need to focus on the leading indicator, which is okay, what got us to this point to where we lost the biggest client or where our best teammate left us and now we have a massive gap in our fulfillment process. Like, what happens in those scenarios where we get set back, right? What led us to that? And the more that we can develop this mindset, I think the faster that you move past these setbacks or these bottleneck points, and you kind of blitz through them to the next point of the business, which is usually growth. So, how do you handle setbacks? Okay, gotta have resilience. All right, next one is openness to feedback. Okay, how do I react to criticism? And here's the thing, guys, is there's a lot of alphas that run businesses. Yeah. And alphas don't tend to do well with criticism or feedback. But here's the thing, it's a chance to learn. It's not a personal attack. And if you're viewing feedback as a personal attack, well, it's a mindset that needs to be shifted because the way that we deal with feedback is probably how our team will deal with feedback, right? It's probably how the people that we surround ourselves, how they'll deal with feedback. So if you want to develop a strong culture of feedback and be able to speak openly, and guys, I've had businesses fail because of the lack of feedback and just brushing things under the rug. Like, ah, it's fine. Like we won't even confront that. 10 minutes late to a meeting. Ah, it's fine. He'll make the next one, right? And then that habit continues, and it's like we just never address it, and it gets to a boiling point where somebody blows up, right? So, how do you respond to feedback? What is the culture of feedback inside of your business? Are you guys taking it as a personal attack, or is it a chance to learn and get better and grow? Okay, so got to be able to have openness to feedback. Okay, now let's talk vision and purpose for a second. Okay, let's go in the clouds. This is what we call cloud thinking, right? Not in the dirt. We're in the clouds here. Okay. A lot of us don't have a clear understanding of why we do what we do. And some of us get into this for the wrong reasons of making money, right? Or getting the Lamborghini, right? Which I don't think are bad things, right? Materialistic things, not necessarily bad things. I know a lot of people that are materialistic that have a very clear why and understanding that drives them of what they do. But chances are, having a deeper meaning and vision for what you guys do. And if you guys have never read Vivid Vision by Cameron Harold, would 100% recommend it. It is one of my favorite books. But if you don't have a clear understanding of your why, it's going to be really hard to push the mission of your business forward. And if your team doesn't understand that, well, why would they be motivated to drive that vision forward? They probably won't be. And especially if it's tied to materialistic things, like, yeah, like we just want to make money. Okay, but why? So invest into your why, invest into your vision a little bit. At some point, we should definitely do a training on vision building. I have this really cool mural board that is specifically around my vision and my purpose. And maybe we'll do that next week. That's actually a really good idea. Just thinking of that right now. So next week, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about vision and purpose, then we'll dive in on a training that. Okay. But we got to have vision and purpose. Okay. And then lastly, adaptability. And you guys, here's the thing is a lot of you guys that are listening to this, you run marketing agencies, you're in marketing, uh, but we lack adaptability. I mean, that's what makes the greatest marketers great is their ability to adapt to change. but yet we lack adaptability inside of our own business. So, how comfortable are you with change? Can I adjust my strategies when needed? And once again, this sometimes comes back to an ego thing where we're not willing to change because this is the way that it's always been done. Well, what if it could be done better, more effectively, more efficiently, more profitably? How comfortable are you with that change when it's not your idea or it goes against the status quo of what you originally set in place? Probably not very comfortable with it, but you should be comfortable with it because if you're trying to run a business that grows without you, that is sustained without you, that doesn't need your time and attention, then you got to be comfortable with change and allowing other people to take the reins and apply those changes. So, can you adjust your strategies when needed? And it kind of comes full circle, right? Back with the feedback side of things. Can you take feedback from the team and allow them to make the changes needed to grow? Because chances are, at some point in time, you're going to have teammates. And I love this because this is my current situation. I have teammates that are better than me in most departments of the business, whether that's sales, finance, operations, right? The team is outpacing me as far as skill set goes, which is the best place to be. Because I want to be surrounded by people that are stallions, that are running the race hard and can challenge me. Huh? So that's a little bit on the mindset of growing a seven-figure business and just some of my takeaways of growing a couple of these now. Now, you want to be great at these. Well, in my opinion, you really have to learn how to journal. Okay. Now, whether you journal through an app, just a notepad, something like that, you got to start somewhere because a lot of these pieces really start to come together, especially vision and purpose, when you get your thoughts down clearly on a notepad. So, practice journaling, I could tell you that most, not all, most of my successful entrepreneur friends do some sort of journaling on a daily basis. And if that's the case, then chances are it's something that you might want to apply to. Okay. So, get into the journaling, work on these pieces because this is what it takes to run a seven-figure business. If you don't have these things, it's very hard and you'll get bottlenecked at a certain point in time. Are you guys aligned with that? There's 8 people in here. I love to see that, but there's not a lot of chatter going on in the chat. Let me know if you guys are around. Come on, give me a little engagement today. Any questions on mindset? We stop there for a second. I'll move over to skill set in just 2 minutes here. But is there any questions around mindset or the mindset it takes to actually operate a seven-figure business? Now, when we get to 8 figures, I'll come and update this list and let you know what it takes to run an 8 figure business. I don't know what it takes to do that yet. I haven't done that. But when we do get there, I'll let you know. Okay. All right. We're just being quiet today. It's fine. I understand. It's Wednesday, kind of midweek. You guys probably had a long day. Unless you're Nadeem, of course, then you're just getting your day started. So you should feel fresh and ready to go. All right, let's talk skill set, guys. Okay. Now, mindset's one thing, skill set is the second. Okay. Technical proficiency. Do I possess the necessary technical skills for my role or business? And where are my gaps? Now, here's the thing, guys, is that a lot of times we are really good at developing these technical skills. Rarely are we good at identifying the gaps that make your technical proficiency whole. Okay. Um, let me dive a little deeper into that. Okay. So, there are certain things that are going to be required of you as a business owner, as a leader, to develop, right? Whether that is something on your ability to generate leads for your business, your ability to close those deals at a high level, your ability to operate the business at a high level and fulfill for your clients and do exactly what you said that you would do, your ability to balance finance and understand, hey, when is it best for us to bring on new hires? How do we structure our team so we can drive the most profit uh, possible, right? how to even hire people in the first place. There's a lot of technical proficiencies that are needed to run and operate a successful business. And if there are lapses in any of these departments, then a lot of times you'll notice stagnation of the business, right? And if I really had to boil, like, if you guys are running an agency, if you really had to boil down how to build a successful agency, well, you need to be technically proficient in 5 areas, and you guys know what these 5 areas are. I talk about, operational lanes all the time on this stream. You got 5 main operational lanes of an agency business. Lead generation and marketing, so your ability to drive leads through the door, okay? You need to be technically proficient at bringing leads in, okay? Sales, you have to be technically proficient at your ability to take those leads that you then generated and be able to cross them into a sale and into your fulfillment. Okay. You need the operational proficiency to be able to fulfill for your clients at the highest level possible. Okay. You need some sort of knowledge around finance and your ability to actually look at a P&L, a cash flow statement, and be able to say, yeah, my business is healthy, or hey, we need to make some changes because the business isn't doing what we need it to do profitably. And then you need the ability to balance that with HR, right? Human resources, leadership, be able to bring on the top tier A player talent, be able to train them into KPI if you can't bring on the A tier type clientele, right? These are all areas that we need to be technically proficient in, right? So you can really find your gaps by breaking down those 5 lanes and saying, okay, where am I struggling the most? And normally what I do, guys, and this is kind of how my brain functions, like learning a new skill set, I usually set a full year aside for one of those skill sets. Now, doesn't mean that I'm probably not learning other skill sets in the meantime, but like one that's really dialed in. And this past year, it's been sales, right? Spent a majority of my time learning this year, specifically on sales strategy. So, how to lead sales calls, discovery calls, right? Closing calls at a higher velocity, but also sales operations, right? So, sales as a whole has been the main focus because it was something that I've never done before. Never ran a sales team before, never studied sales at a high level. And so this is where we started bringing in coaches and we started bringing in consultants, trying to figure out how to run the best sales team possible. Okay. So you have to understand where your gaps are, be able to identify them, and then go and find the resources to become technically proficient at them. Hopefully that's making sense so far. I feel like I'm just spitting some fire. All right. Anthony asked, we covered the core values in Hydra, but we get so in the weeds doing the work. It's so easy to forget to think high level and really stay on top of the vision. 100%. You got to be able to pull yourself out of the business. We call this cloud versus dirt type thinking, right? Dude, we got to be in the dirt, right? We got to be in the trenches. But if we don't take that time, at least in my opinion, once a quarter, and we even have monthly strategy now, but at least once a quarter, pull yourself out, zoom out from the lens. And Corey gave me such a great analogy today of imagine that you're standing in front of a really large painting, right? And that painting is your business. And you're standing so close to it that you can't see the full picture. But you get someone that's standing 10 feet behind you, well, they can see the full painting, right? And so you have to be able to take a lens and zoom out from the business, work on the strategy in order to zoom back in and work on the business. Uh, Corey, if you're a solopreneur, what are some best practices for identifying your gaps? Yeah, I mean, so kind of Corey, as I covered, one outside perspective. Okay, chances are we have friends in the same industry. As us. So going to them, asking, "Hey, like, where are my gaps?" Because I'm pretty sure, Corey, if I asked you, "Hey, where are my gaps as a leader? Where are my gaps as a business owner? Where are my gaps as a sales professional?" You could identify them pretty quickly, right? Because we know each other. But if you can't lean on someone else, or you don't have the ability to lean on someone else and you don't have that network quite yet, then self-evaluation really becomes the way, right? And in order to do this, I think you should break it down by operational lane and figure out what is causing us to not grow, right? Are we not getting enough leads in? Well, if we're getting enough leads in, are we not closing at a high enough closing rate, right? Or maybe we're closing and we're getting enough leads in, but when we do that, we're only keeping clients for 3 months, right? So you need to be able to reverse engineer the problems in your business, but this takes the zoom out approach, right? We have to step away and we got to be able to zoom out and take a different lens to it. Otherwise, we'll never be able to fix the problems because we're constantly in the trenches and we're too zoomed in. We're standing too close to the picture, using your analogy, right? Felix, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Welcome back. Corey, how do you know if you've been in the dirt too long? I would say when the business starts to stagnate. Okay. Um, this isn't for everyone, but I think on average, if you look at your growth month over month, you should see growth every single month. Now, we're talking averages, we're not talking actuals, because we have months where we grow 30, 40%, which is crazy. Like that's so much. But then we'll have like stabilization periods for a month or two where it's like, hey, like we didn't really grow that much. We needed to stabilize. We didn't bring on a bunch of clients, right? But if you average it out over a 4 month period and we grew 40%, well, it's like 10% a month. So I think you need to look at the averages and figure out, hey, are we growing or are we not growing? If we're not growing, we need to zoom out a little bit. We got to figure out why in the hell are we not growing, right? Because that's the point of business. I don't think anyone starts a business to stay stagnant. God, that sounds awful. So if the goal of business is to grow and to grow profitably, then and we're not doing that, especially over an extended period of time, then of course we can refer back to the old definition of insanity by our good friend Einstein, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? So we have to be able to reflect back on that and be able to say, well, I'm not just going to do the same thing over and over again because clearly this isn't working. That's when you need to pull yourself out. That's when you've been in the dirt way too long. And that's also why we recommend like, hey, at least once a quarter, do a lot of these. And we talked about this in previous trainings as well. But do a lot of the I won't go find it because it's gonna take me a minute. But do a lot of those strategy sessions, right? Meet with the team, meet with even if it's just by yourself. I remember when I first started this consultancy, I used to do our one-page impact plan. If you guys aren't familiar with the one-page impact plan, it's in either the first or second lesson on this mural board. But I remember doing these one-page impact plans all by myself, and I would set a quarterly theme every quarter by myself, and every month I would set my impact items. And I remember just feeling so monotonous and like I was just in this position where uh, I wasn't I didn't really feel like I was running a business, or I didn't really feel successful because gosh, why am I blanking on the freaking terminology for it? Uh, imposter syndrome. I don't know if I couldn't think of that. Goodness gracious. I would have all of this imposter syndrome built up of like doing these things that are required to build a great business when I don't have a great business. And it can be defeating at times, but you know it's the right thing. And you know it's the thing that's going to get you to the next level if you just stay with it. Because here's the thing is like the stuff that like the one page impact plan and the person that I learned that from ran a 9-figure agency, exited for 9 figures as well. They did about $45 million in EBITDA every single month. and then they ended up exiting for about 450 million. They got a 10x on their EBITDA. And I remember listening to this mentor and him explaining this to me, and I'm like, dude, if this works at this level and he's telling me to do it when I'm by myself and I don't have any teammates, and he's like, this is what it takes, I'm gonna do it. And here's the thing, we do it every single month. Anyway, that's how you know you've been in the dirt too long, Corey. All right, let's go to skill set number two. Continuous learning, which kind of falls back on technical proficiencies, right? Like, okay, like we have to fill our gaps, right? But hey, when's the last time that you learned something new related to your field? And then do I consistently review the basics of my field every year? Typo there. Okay. Now, I think the first thing, we get too zoomed in on this sometimes, right? Of learning something new or finding the new tactic, finding the new strategy, when chances are the things that are kind of like the boring, mundane things that you learned 2, 3 years ago are just the things that you need to continue to stay fresh on and review consistently. Like those things work for a reason. So, are you staying up to date and reviewing the basics of your field yearly? If not, it should be a regular practice. There's certain books that I read every single year. $100 million offers, read it every single year. Okay, since it came out. Okay, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, read it every single year. Traction by Gino Wickman, read it every single year. Why? Because these are the basics of my field and the basics of being a great operator and being great at operations. And so I consistently review the basics of my field yearly. What do you say here, Felix? Dunning-Kruger effect is a real thing. You feel like a god when things start working initially, and you believe you know everything. Yeah, exactly. You get a little traction, you get a little complacent, and then you stop doing the things that got you here in the first place. It's 100% true. So, gotta have that continuous learning mindset, guys. Right? Like, obviously, some of these tie back together. Okay. Fourth piece is going to be problem solving. How effectively can you and your team come up with solutions to challenges that you face? A big problem solver. Everyone on our team is a problem, right? Because we don't bring problems to the table. We bring a problem with a solution or a recommended solution, even if we're not sure if it's the right thing. But how effectively can we come up with solutions to our problems? It's a skill set. And if you don't believe it's a skill set, trust me, it is. Being able to reverse engineer and diagnose a problem inside of the business and follow the breadcrumbs back to what the cause of the problem actually is a skill set. Adam said being resourceful is a superpower. I would say it's my number one superpower outside. Actually, I lied. Okay. Two, two superpowers. Two superpowers that I have. One is being able to sleep at any time at any point of the day. Um, I love sleep, and I'm freaking awesome at sleeping. Like, if I'm gonna brag about myself about anything, I'm an excellent sleeper. Okay. But my second superpower is being resourceful. I'm the most resourceful person. I was resourceful all the way through school. Little hint there that I kind of cheated my way through most of school. I always used calculators. I always used the internet. I never really built or or learned anything throughout high school because I was like, well, when am I not going to have these resources available to me? Like, are they just going to disappear one day? It just didn't make sense to me, right? So, uh, some people call it cheating. I call it being resourceful. Okay, but being resourceful, 100%, 100% a superpower. Agreed, Adam. Passes it out during the main event of every dude. Those fight nights, man, they go till like midnight. That's like 2.5 hours past my bedtime. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little sleepy. Okay. All right, so that's problem solving. Guys, the last one here on the skill set tree is going to be communication and leadership. One, how well can I convey my ideas to others and actually communicate with my team? And will my team follow me during great times and bad? Guys, one of the most underdeveloped, and I'm so fortunate that my very first real work experience, I would say, uh, my boss invested heavily into our leadership. Every book that you could possibly imagine that freaking what's his name? John Maxwell wrote, John Gordon, Patrick Lencioni. I mean, that's all we would read. It was all leadership. We would go to leadership events, everything. Everything to do with leadership, we learned. Now, I was very fortunate, but it's still a skill set that I must freshen up on a regular basis. What's up, Tyler? Um, so communication and leadership. Okay. How well will the team follow you? And can you convey your ideas? And can you communicate well with clients? Can you communicate well with peers? Can you communicate well with affiliates, right? People that will help bring business into the door. Um, okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, that's it on the skill set side. Now, is there more? Probably there's more skill sets involved, but these are the ones I could think of um, that I think that you guys should have, right? All right. So, want to be great at these? Really comes down to consuming healthy inputs and install feedback loops with peers and clients. Okay. So, if you guys want to grow your skill sets, well, you got to be consuming the right things. And hey, guess what? You're in the right place right now. This is a good place to be to consume healthy inputs, or at least I like to think so. That you're in the right spot. But a lot of times, we don't have the right feedback loops installed either. Okay, so have the people in your corner in recommendations here, and I can't remember where I got this from. This is like Hermosi or someone, but he's like, you need someone that's in front of you, right? Someone that you aspire to be. You need people that are on a very similar level to you, right? Someone that you're constantly keeping up with and feel competitive in a healthy nature, of course. And then you need people that you can mentor, because when you can mentor people and you could teach them what you've learned, it just solidifies it in your own brain. Okay, so create those in feedback loops with peers and clients. All right, let's talk about the last bucket: relationships. My favorite bucket is relationships. Okay. And we have something called the queen bee rule here at Hydra, or QBR, which is building agency relationships. It's the thing that we must defend at all costs, right? So for us, relationships are the most crucial part of our business, whether that's our team, our clients. Okay. We put our relationship with them above all else. Okay. So first thing is going to be networking. Now, will I say this is 100% necessary to build a seven-figure business? No, no, it's not necessary. But let me tell you, it does, and it will speed up the process if you're in the right circles. Yeah. So, how often do you actually engage with others in your industry or field outside of the necessary interaction of like, oh yeah, like we got to go to this team meeting? Okay, because the more that you rub shoulders with people that are in a similar industry to you, that have high aspirations just like you do, or a little bit ahead of you as well, right? That's when the biggest gains, I think, are made. You're learning from other people. You're getting stoked about building a business because you see what is out there and you see what is capable, and what you're capable of, what your team is capable of, right? Because if this person over here can do it, why wouldn't you be able to? There are no limits when it comes to this. And that's why I love getting in like these awesome rooms. And Adam said, "Get in the right rooms." It's been a phrase that I've used so much. But like, get in the right rooms. Pay to get into the right rooms. So I've built some of my best relationships. Okay, so networking. Two, gotta learn some empathy. And I know Corey will love this one because we talk about empathy often on the sales side. How sometimes we have to feel with our prospect, right? How well do you understand and relate to the emotions and needs of others? Clients, prospects, teammates. This is one of the most powerful things that you could ever learn in your business. And if you want to have this feeling that your team will crawl over broken glass to fill on your vision, this is something that you need to develop, hands down. Because when you can feel with your team, Corey said, empathy is my superpower. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But when you can feel with your team, that relationship, that bond becomes so strong. But I don't think great businesses are built without empathy. At least businesses that people want to be around. I've seen a lot of businesses that have been built without empathy, but it ends up leading to a lot of emptiness. And I've been involved in a few of those because there was lack of empathy. Okay, two more here. Two more. Conflict resolution. Remember that sweeping the shit under the rug? Yeah, we don't do that. Okay, so how do we handle disagreements or conflicts? Do you avoid it or do you confront and collaborate on it? Um, very strict rule on this now because I used to be involved in a few cultures that did not address the problem head on. We do not brush things under the rug inside of our business. We address them head on, and then we manage the feelings secondary, right? Because here's the thing, feedback and fixing problems doesn't really revolve around emotion. It's just what we have to do. Now, sometimes we do get emotional and our team gets emotional when we have to address certain situations. But it's never coming from a place of bringing them down. It's always coming from a place of empathy and wanting the best for them and the best for our team. And that's why we have things like core values to be able to support those decisions and be able to address any of the conflicts that we might have. That's the power of having core values. And if you don't have core values, guess what? There's a whole freaking lesson somewhere on this mural board of how to build out your core values. But we have to learn conflict resolution because if we do not, it festers within the organization. If you want a cancerous culture, then don't learn conflict resolution. Yeah. All right. Last one's going to be team collaboration. How well do I work within a team? Do I value the input of others? And we kind of touched on this one just slightly, a little bit earlier. But you guys, if you want great business, you're going to need team. Now, if you want to run the solo show, sweet. Gallop, sprint away. Okay. What's the saying? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right. And that's a phrase for a reason, is because in order to go far, you do need a team. You need support. And you need people that are going to be in your corner. And you definitely need people that are better than you. You can't be the best on your team. If you're the best on your team, you're going to be handcuffed to your business forever. So you need to provide opportunity to people who are better than you at what you do. Lee Media said, agreed. I'm in agreement on this. I don't know why I didn't put want to be great at these. Guys, relationships is a lot of practice. There's a lot of making mistakes. I remember being just a very young leader and just saying things to my team sometimes where I was like, well, that was the right thing, or that's probably gonna piss someone off, or I don't really care what the team thinks. Slow it down. Okay. Great leaders think before they speak. Okay. We don't just blurt things out. Okay. Um, have some empathy. Okay. Be able to resolve conflict within your team, collaborate with them, right? You're all on the same team. And that's all I got for you guys today. Mindset, skill set, relationships. You want to build a 7-figure business, that's what it takes. At least from my experience. What questions do we have? Let's go. I feel good about it today. What questions you guys have? Questions, comments, concerns, epiphanies, takeaways. Hit me with them. If there's no questions, I'm gonna be so mad. What do you guys got? While you're thinking of questions to ask, real quick, hit the like on the stream. Goes a long way. Helps us reach more people. If you like this type of content, let's get it in front of more eyes. Okay. The stream is growing. I don't know if you guys feel it, but it's growing. I can feel it. Okay. So leave a like on the stream. It helps us. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are we doing, man? Subscribe. Okay. Same reason. Helps us reach more people. Okay. We crossed 700 subscribers this month, by the way. Super excited. Thank you so much for your support. Felix said, always be liking. Of course, bro. Corey? Bro, this was fire. Thank you for doing this. Of course, bro. Anytime. The momentum is going. Let's go. Let's go. All right, I'm going to stop share screen for a second. Do you think that these skills should be learned in the order that you laid out? Um, I don't think so. Well, certain pieces, yes and no. This is such a good question, and honestly, Corey, I don't know exactly how to answer it, but let me try and articulate something that sounds somewhat intelligent for you. There are going to be inflection points in any business that are going to require certain pieces of what we laid out today. And these inflection points rarely happen when you expect them to. And so having an understanding of all of these things is required, but you will fall short and you will mess it up a lot of times before you learn it. So with that said, having the self-awareness that this is what it takes and that you're probably lacking in certain areas of mindset, skill set, and relationships. And this is where self-awareness kind of brings it all full circle, that we have to be able to look at these categories and say, where am I lacking? And once you pinpoint those things, then you go and dive in on it. Because here's the thing, guys, is like we're all skilled at different things, right? Corey, for example, like you're extremely technically proficient in sales. You're extremely technically proficient in problem solving and continuous learning, communication and leadership. But maybe you have deficiencies in conflict resolution. And sometimes it's hard for you to address a problem and be able to go to a superior and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling and this is what we need to fix. Not saying that that's true by any means. I think you're great at conflict resolution, but being able to have self reflection on these categories and say, where are my deficiencies? And this is where this comes in right here. Guys, learn how to journal. I'm telling you, you'll learn most about your deficiencies if you can journal. I don't know if that's helpful, Corey. I hope that sounded somewhat intelligent for you. Felix, best way you've seen to build relationships in person, Instagram, LinkedIn. What are your thoughts? Always in person. Always in person. Get in the right rooms. There's nothing that builds or starts a relationship better than a handshake, a hug, freaking dap them up, you know? Uh, there's nothing better that builds a relationship than that. And it's like, Felix, like, I love that you come to agency therapy, man, but I don't think we've ever met in person. And I feel like we got some sort of relationship here, right? But our relationship would be way deeper if we were in person or if like we had a chance to sit down and talk for 30 minutes. You can't be in person when it comes to building relationships. Beautiful. Any other questions? Of course, I give without expectation of receiving. Of course. I had a saying that I used to use, and I haven't used it in a while, but it was something along the lines of, we will give without the expectation of ever being paid. And I think that's particularly true, and especially with what we do. It's like we try and give as much as we can without ever expecting getting paid, which is basically what you said. But it reminded me of that saying, and I thought I would share it. What else we got, guys? Anything else? Amazing. Guys, thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. If you guys need anything, you obviously know where to reach me. You can DM me, Twitter, Instagram. Those are probably where I'm most active if you're wanting to get in touch or contact me and ask questions. If you need resources, if you need trainings, templates, tools, whatever it is, shoot me a message. Happy to send over what we do have for you guys. I hope this was helpful today. And I hope you guys do get some solid inputs from these live streams. We'll be back next week, and I'm really excited for it. I can't remember I'm gonna go back and listen to the recording because I don't remember what I said we were gonna talk about. Uh, I think it was something on the lesson. Hold on, let me look real quick. Oh, vision and purpose. Let's do some vision and purpose next week, guys. I think that'd be a really good extension to this episode. Yeah, Felix, next one on the vision board. Let's do it. I'm down. All right, team. Appreciate you guys coming. We'll see you in the next one.